Hello guys, so in this video, we're asked to find the center and radius of a sphere. So the formula for the center and radius of a sphere is this one right here. X minus x naught squared plus y minus y naught squared plus z minus z naught squared is equal to r squared. Given our center point will be noted as c of x naught, y naught, z naught. So without further ado, we have to find the equation of a sphere of given these values. So the first thing is we ask ourselves, what's our x naught? Well, our x naught is 2. What's our y naught? Our y naught is minus 8. What's our z naught? Our z naught is plus 5. Then we ask ourselves, what's the radius? So the radius is r equals to 7. So now the next step is to plug them into this formula right here. So we get x minus x naught. What's our x naught? Is 2. So minus 2 squared plus y minus y naught squared. So y minus, what's our y naught? Is minus 8. So minus 8 squared. Then our z naught, z minus z naught. So we get z minus z naught is 5 squared is equal to our radius, which is 7 squared. So then the next step is to just simplify this. Simplify these minus signs, simplify this number. So we get x minus 2 squared plus y plus 8 squared plus z minus 5 squared is equal to 49. And that's how you take the equation of a sphere given its center and its radius. So yeah, it's literally that easy. So just identify your center as x naught, y naught, z naught, not the x, y, z, x naught, y naught, z naught. Plug them into this formula right here, which is what I did. Then your radius, don't forget to square it. Or if it gives you an r squared, take the square root of it, which it could have also done. But that's how you find the equation of the sphere given its center and its radius. Thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful. Hello guys, so in this video, we're gonna find out how to find the radius and center of a sphere not given the center or the radius, which is a little bit more difficult, but it's not anything too difficult. So it really does test your algebra more than anything. So without further ado, we have a function x squared plus y squared plus z squared is plus 8x minus 6y minus 4z minus 7 is equal to 0. So the first thing we do is we're going to group x, y, and z terms. So what do I mean by that? We're going to do something along the lines of this. So we're going to group the x squared with the 8x. We're going to group the y squared with the minus 6y. And we're going to group the z squared with the minus 4z. So basically, we're going to do this. So x squared plus 8x. And I'm going to leave a little gap here, and later on you'll see why. Plus y squared minus 6y plus z squared minus 4z. And I'm going to say all this. Minus 7, I'm going to move it to the opposite side. So it's going to be equal to plus 7, positive 7. All I did was add 7 to both sides. Okay. So now, the next step is we're going to complete the square. So we're going to complete square. So how do we do that? Basically, right here where we see our x terms, our y terms, and our z terms, we're going to divide by 2. And then we're going to square them, and then we're going to fill them in right here where we see blank. So 8, for example, for x. 8 divided by 2 squared. And for y, it would be minus 6 divided by 2 squared. And for z, it would be negative 4 divided by 2 squared. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 squared is 16. So now we're going to add 16 right here. Now the next step, minus 6 divided by 2 is minus 3. But when you square that, you get plus 9. So this will be for our y. And then for our z, minus 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. When you square that, that's plus 4. So that is our z component. So now the next step, which I will do on another sheet of paper, is to basically just, what we're going to do now is we're going to add terms to both sides. So first we're going to write what we have. So we're going to write what I have down here. So x squared plus 8x plus 16 plus y squared minus 6y plus 9 plus z squared minus 4z plus 4 is equal to 7. The next step that we're going to do in completing the square is we're going to add these numbers, the numbers that we got from here, from this step, from completing the square. We're going to add these numbers to both sides. So we already added them here, but we're going to add them to the opposite side. So add to both sides. So these three numbers that I underlined. So in this case, we would do x squared plus 8x plus 16. And then I'm going to put parentheses around to know that this is the x component. Y squared minus 6y plus 9. Parentheses plus z squared minus 4z plus 4. Parentheses is equal to 7 plus these numbers 4, 9, and 16. So 7 plus 4 plus 9 plus 16. We add them to both sides. So now we're going to simplify this a little bit. So the next step is we're going to factor these polynomials. And this is just basically algebra, so I'm not going to go over how I'm going to do it. I'm going to just go ahead and do it. So what multiplies to be 16 and adds to be 8 would be x plus 4 squared. What multiplies to be 9 and adds to be minus 6 would be y minus 3 squared. Multiplies to be 4 adds to be minus 4 would be z minus 2 squared. And all this is equal to 7 plus 4 plus 9 plus 16. So 25 plus 11 would be 36. So now this is our equation of a sphere. But what if we want to identify the center? Because the question asks us to find the center and the radius. So our center, remember, is x naught, y naught, z naught. So x naught, y naught, z naught. So our center would be equal to, remember we have to flip the signs because this is essentially, in essence, the equation of a sphere is x minus x naught, y minus y naught, z minus z naught is equal to r squared. So we have to flip these signs. So it would be minus 4 plus 3 plus 2. So this is equal to our center. Now, how about our radius? So our radius is over here, but keep in mind that's equal to r squared. So r squared is equal to 36, which means that our r, by taking the square of both sides, our r is equal to just 6. So that's our radius, and this is our center. So that's how you find the center and the radius given a function that looks something like this. So the first step is we have to complete the square. So we do that by grouping the x and y terms, which we did right here, x, y, and z. Then we complete the square by dividing the middle term by 2, then squaring it. Dividing the term that's to the power of 1, divide that by 2, square it. Divide by 2, square. Then you fill them in to these holes right here. Then the next step would be to add that to both sides. So whatever these terms were for completing the square, we add them to both sides, not just this side, we add them to the opposite side as well. And in doing so, we got the equation of a sphere. And from there, we had to find the center by knowing that this formula is x minus x naught squared plus y minus y naught squared plus z minus z naught squared is equal to r squared. So since we have the minus sign, this minus sign right here indicates that whenever we have our final form of our radius, we have to flip the sign whenever we're stating what our x, y, and z naught are, because there's an invisible minus sign in front of all of these. So we get minus 4 plus 3 plus 2. So all we did right here was just flip these signs. Then from there, it's equal to 36, but 36 is our r squared, so we take the square root of it, and then we get r. And that's how we find the center and the radius of a sphere, given something that looks like this. All right, thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful.